hello, adventurers and story lovers. Welcome to Inspired Quill D&D. There will be another name. We haven't decided it yet. I am your humble dungeon master, James Webster. With me today are some lovely Inspired Quill people who will now introduce themselves. Starting with David.
Oh, no, not me. I didn't know. I was going to listen to everybody else. Hi, I'm David Wilkinson. I am one of the authors at Inspired Quill. I mainly write kind of like space opera science fiction. So I've been pre-reading the Earthsea series just to do kind of get in the zone for this. That was for the first time. Yes, so I'm also a complete novice to Dungeons and Dragons. I've never successfully paid it for more than about 10 minutes without going, what on earth is happening? So I'll be the one asking all the questions and just saying, look, can I do that? And somebody tell me what to chuck in terms of dice, obviously.
Yeah, so David will be our clueless every person, our kind of audience newcomer point of view character. David, why don't you tell us who you're playing?
All right, I am playing a character called Jack Pliarkin, which is loosely based on I was about to say hero, the principal character of my second book. Obviously, she actually works in a futuristic city, but this one has some of the same kind of features. So Jack Pliarkin used to work for the Watch, so she was. They were. I still haven't decided what sex it is, actually. Cut this bit out, won't you? Yeah. They used to work for the Watch, so they have a certain background in law enforcement. But for reasons that will remain opaque for now, they no longer work for the Watch, and they drink a lot, and they smoke a lot, and they take certain interesting herbs from roadsides, and I know a lot about those herbs. But an overwhelming sense of justice. So sometimes to the detriment of doing the right thing. So the higher calling of justice will usually decide any kind of tricky situation. My character also will approach any situation with a kind of rational, reasonable take on it, but will get frustrated very quickly, and things will escalate very quickly if they don't go my way.
Fantastic.
Oh, I should have said I'm an Aasimar.
Yes, Jack Pliarkin is an Aasimar rogue. And David, will you tell us the name of the book that Pliarkin is from?
Oh, the book. Yes, hang on. No, that's one. It's from Under the Shell. So the character in that is actually called Jack Pliarkin rather than Jack Pliarkin. And Jack is spelled differently as well.
All of their books now.
Yeah. I've got yours there, Hugo. So,
hey.
Fab.
Okay, brilliant. And next, let's move on to Craig.
Great. Hi, I'm Craig Hallam. I'm another one of the authors. I tend to lean more towards kind of fantasy, gothic, kind of steampunky stuff. I have a very short attention span, so I tend to jump around genres depending on what I'm feeling like. Which is good because I'm playing Alan Shaw from my steampunk series, and he does what he wants to do based on how he's feeling as well. He's pretty moody and gets basically just annoyed by other people's stupidity an awful lot, which is interesting because he's not the sharpest tool in the shed himself. But yes, so The Adventures of Alan Shaw is the series that obviously Alan is from. I'm going to be playing a fantasy-ish version kind of thing of Alan. I've gone for the ultimate boring combination of human fighter. It kind of fits Alan really well, but surrounded by the rest of the team, I think he's probably going to get outclassed pretty quickly. Alan is from that book. Just there. There you go. Yes, but he's probably chaotic good-ish. Does believe in right or wrong, but right or wrong is a matter of perspective and situation. So we'll see.
Okay, super. Moving on to Sarah.
So I'm the odd one out here because I'm not actually an author. I run Inspired Quill, have done for pretty much a decade now, which is slightly terrifying. So the character that I'm playing is from actually one of James's titles, Heroine Chic.
Oh, sorry.
And I am playing The Lost Boys Lost. So I am playing a fantasy steampunky version of Wendy Darling. I've renamed her Wendy Quill because why not? And she is a paladin, and she's also a Kadashtar. So that will all become what word am I looking for? It will all make sense if you read the poem from the book Heroine Chic. And she also has one hand. So a paladin without much dexterity, so that's going to be fun.
Indeed. So yeah, Sarah is indeed the reason we're all here, really. At least here together, not alive. And yeah, I think I don't envy the challenge of Sarah because everyone else is playing a character that they wrote with a whole book or multiple books of information behind them. And Captain Wendy exists in one single one-page poem.
I like a challenge. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Room
to
to
round out,
expand.
and to round out our final player, Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo Jackson. I'm pretty much exclusively a kind of furry fantasy sword and sorcery author. My books are here. My character is Faria Ferraco, as you can see on the front cover there. She's going to be a slightly older version than she is in the books here. She is a storm sorcerer, so lots of magic and not very many hit points. She is she's sort of in her mid-20s, lives with her father, who is a tailor, and she tries to support him as best she can, but she gets distracted by pretty mechanical machines and ducks and chickens and things like that.
On the one hand, you have, and on the other.
Yeah, there's balance.
There's some way through the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, and she is obviously, because she's a fox, she's based on the Tabaxi series, because it's often said that foxes are, what is it, cat software running on dog hardware. So that character type fits in very well with the racial abilities they have for Tabaxi. I love D&D. I'm not very experienced with it, so I'm very enthusiastic, sort of intermediate and newbie with it. I love it. I've bought many pairs of dice already.
All of the dice.
Yes, many dice.
Marvelous. And yes, I am James Webster. As Sarah said, I'm the author of Heroine Chic, a collection of short fiction themed around heroines in sci-fi and fantasy. I will respond to either James or Webster. Either's fine. My pronouns, which we'll probably add in little subtitles under each of our introductions as well, are he, him, they, them, and am. Any of those are fine. And yeah, I will be your dungeon master. It's very exciting. Our story will begin in the town of Ramshackle, colloquially known to its residents as Shackle. It is, as the name suggests, a somewhat haphazard affair, kind of held together with gaffer tape and string out of strange technologies and magic. The main feature of Ramshackle is in the center of the town is the gate, an extra-planal portal that connects the town to various other dimensions of various kinds, which explains perhaps some of the strange genre mashup you may experience in this game.
Craig, what are
That
you
was an
writing notes on already? That's terrifying.
Yeah, so I didn't mention, but I've been playing D&D for quite some time, and I have a terrible memory. So I'm aware that writing stuff down is kind of essential to my personal survival, and probably Alan's as well. Yeah, I'm ridiculously organised. Sorry, I have little circles so I can cross out how many shots my gun has. I'm in deep already. Can't help it.
This is the kind of preparation that I approve of. Every group of adventurers needs at least one. Someone you can ask, hey, can you go back through your notes and work out the name of that NPC we met some time ago? Like, the in character was yesterday, but in terms of actual life was months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm terrible for that, actually.
Yeah, actually, I should say, in terms of my experience with tabletop role-playing games, I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for many years now, and various other role-playing games as well. Got properly into them just after university when I was 21, which was some years ago now. I'm not going to say how many. I started with D&D, I think when I was 11, and I had the 2nd edition starter set that I got my dad to run for me and a group of my friends. And I shamelessly cheated through the first half because I read the first half of the book. And then, and no one noticed this, including my dad. But then when I got to the second half and like the final puzzle, which I solved very quickly and was very proud of, and I hadn't read, that's when my dad said, "You know what, James? It's less fun when you read the whole book ahead of time." In front of all my friends.
Oh no!
Ouch.
Yeah, but no, as this is a world and adventure that I have made up and that you have all helped me make up and will indeed be forced to help me make up as time goes on, no one can accuse any of us of cheating, so that's nice. Yeah, stuff we've established about the world outside of Ramshackle, I think there's a loose collection of city-states and small nations. Further outside of that, there are probably larger nations and things, but we haven't defined what that is, and we'll probably define that as we get to it. Indeed, there's not a huge amount in Ramshackle that we've defined either. There is the main feature of the gate. I've decided what some of the districts are, which we'll go over, and I'll show you the very terrible map I've created.
Is there a convention centre?
There is not, but that is something that you can add. Because seeing as we are a group of writers and editors, it seems only fitting that I should call on you to fill in extra details of the world to kind of create it collaboratively as we go. It's not just because I'm lazy, it's to showcase your skills.
Smooth. I think we're also all just jonesing for book signings because it's been far too long and we're all getting a bit...
Yeah.
Hecking, absolutely.
I will also be turning my microphone off regularly because when I laugh, unfortunately, it's very loud and explosive and nobody needs to hear that. So most of the time, I won't be making a noise, hopefully.
Do we use a D20 very often?
That will be
Almost
the dice
never.
you use.
Well, you see, I've just dropped it, and it's in the huge pile of stuff, and I can't.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Just roll 2d10s instead. The statistics are exactly the same. He said, annoying everybody.
It's fine. I'm not bothered by this. One thing I will say is that yes, the D20 is the dice you'll probably roll the most often when you are actually rolling dice, because as often happens, players will insist on role playing.
Found it. Oh god.
So when we're talking about bits that we're going to edit out, this is staying in, right?
Oh yeah.
Has to.
The search for the dice is vital content.
And thus we have our title for the stream.
Yeah, the search.
Great. Other things about this game before we get cracking. We are playing it obviously on Google Meet because we are physically distant, and also it would be illegal currently for us all to meet in the same place inside. I hope someday people watch this and look back and go, "Oh, what a curious artifact of the time of COVID." Well done, you. You survived.
So far.
Ooh, don't.
Should
my
we
fault, I
point out
got
it's also transatlantic.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Hugo is in the States, so there for Hugo it is very early in the morning.
It's not too bad. I had a coffee. I'm good.
Early-ish.
Yeah.
Super. And we're also playing this over Roll20, the virtual tabletop system, which at some point I might present on my screen, or we can cut to via some other jiggery pokery just to show the terrible visual assets that we are working with.
I actually have it. I have it set up in the middle of the recording, so it's actually
that's
sat
marvelous.
between us.
That's fab. So you can see.
That's smart.
You'll be able to see soon the things that I've created entirely in MS Paint.
Is there any other way to create stuff?
Not that I know. Certainly, that's how I write all my stories. Just hand drawn in MS Paint. Great. So, without further ado, I'll do a little bit of a kind of setting intro, and then we'll kind of introduce your characters in setting. So, it began with a thunderclap, but you didn't hear it. It was drowned out in the sound of a shot glass slamming on the stained wooden counter. It was muffled by the impact of a fist hitting jaw and the crack of your head snapping back. It was concealed in the ring of a hook as it thunks into a crate, levering it open to reveal the illicit goods inside. It was lost in the focus that comes with working on an intricate and careful project, in the chime of metalwork and the joy of a problem solved. It began yesterday, and today you all awake with no idea of the trouble that is about to land in your collective laps. It began with a thunderclap and a flash of light and a doorway opening, and you missed it. But something has come through, and it will not miss you. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh no.
I feel
Scary
so
already.
confident about this campaign.
So, to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to separately meet each of our characters and just see what they're up to this fine morning. So I'm going to roll a d4, and depending on what number it gets, we'll do a little introduction with you. So we got a number 2, which I'm on my screen would be Craig. So Craig,
Webster, come on.
hey,
Why
don't
would
blame
you
me,
do
blame
that
the
to me?
dice. The dice gods decided this, not me. I don't know what you did to piss them off.
you.
So tell us, how does Alan Shaw wake up this fine morning, and what's Alan's morning routine like?
He usually wakes up dressed in the same clothes that he was wearing yesterday. Usually in a kind of in a beam of light from the curtains he forgot to close, and still wearing his coat. He probably managed to kick off his boots, but that's about as far as it got. And usually wakes up in bed kind of looking like he's fallen from a great height, just sprawled, kind of on top of the covers, and then kind of falls into unconsciousness rather than actually sleeping. Wakes up with a groan every single morning. It's never nice to hear birds tweeting or anything like that. It's always oh no. And kind of goes about his usual morning routine of getting washed and dressed with redressed. Yeah, the wardrobe would have the same clothes in it, so 2 pairs of the same trousers and 4 of the same shirt. Alan is not a man who likes variety in what he's wearing. He likes to reduce his decisions down as small as humanly possible. And so even if you do see him the next day, it probably still looks like he's wearing yesterday's clothes. But yes, makes a meager breakfast, finds a decent cup of tea, which is the only essential, and begrudgingly goes outside to see what everybody else has been up to.
And what area, what kind of neighborhood do you think Alan Shaw lives in?
He's usually got a little bit of money on him. Where he's got it from varies, but he probably lives in quite a decent house from the outside until you step on the inside and realize that he does not look after it at all. So from the inside, you would be thinking something of the poor to squalid, but from the outside, probably, oh, that looks like a nice place.
So what I'm hearing is he lives in like a reasonably upscale neighborhood, but his neighbors hate him.
That sounds about right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to, on roll 20, move us on to the map of the city.
Ooh.
Has that come up?
It's drumroll. I've got a black screen so far.
Oh, it's a map.
So now you can see the map.
Ooh,
Yeah.
There we go.
2 weeks ago, I'd never heard of Roll20.
All right, great. There is a map.
Cool.
So in terms of places here that are nice, you'll see that some of the areas have names. They take their names from various archetypes that are story archetypes that are known throughout this city and indeed are known fairly widely. We'll go into those more later. But the kind of nice upscale ones are probably like Harvest and Heart. Heart's where a lot of the kind of civic buildings and kind of churches are. Harvest is where some of the kind of agricultural areas are, but also where some of the well-off farmers might be.
Oh, that sounds about right.
There we go. I have now labelled the map with where Alan Shaw lives.
Yay!
Wait.
And we will continue. So, when Alan heads outside into kind of the hustle and bustle of harvest, you in the distance there are some long orchards and fields that people are already up and working on, kind of picking fruits and ploughing fields. So you can hear the kind of chatter of workers in the distance of farm hands, kind of cheerful and good-natured. And in the distance off to this kind of southwest, you can see the faint bluish purple light of the gate, which is active, which you weren't expecting today. Normally people there are kind of warnings from town criers that go around letting people know that they can expect activity, or that there is an emissary or traders coming through. But this is a surprise. And what errands or activities does Alan have planned for the day?
If there are orchards around, that means free food.
Potentially.
So the first thing will be to take a casual walk by anything that's within reach and get breakfast, if there are any orchards around.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's ask. I'm going to ask you for the first roll of the game. Please roll. I guess if to know where you can get some sneaky breakfast, roll history.
Okay.
See if you've got a good idea of the layout of the city. You
Come
can
on,
roll it
roll.
on D20, or you can roll an actual dice.
That's a big 4.
Yeah, you're not really sure where's good, so you just wander towards the nearest orchard that you can see. It's quite busy, and there's something you swear there's something you should remember about these orchards, but it's just escaping you, and I guess it can't be that important. And yeah, there's this lovely kind of
You've been rolling your character, Craig.
And there's this lovely apple tree
So my next
just
character will be from another book.
just above this path that's kind of crossing under this orchard. It's really lovely. There are lots of public paths that walk under the orchards, not so much through the kind of fields for crops, but here, yeah, it's a mixture of somewhere for harvest and somewhere for a public park.
In that case, I feel perfectly safe to take something from one of the trees.
Yeah, lovely.
As there's nothing that I need to remember, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. How's Alan going about this?
Completely blasé, 100% bullheaded in. That apple is now mine.
Great. I'm gonna say it's a little out of your reach. So
Yoink.
if you want to kind of climb up the tree, make me an athletics check.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not hard. The difficulty is just gonna be like 12 on this. I'll be upfront about that.
Let's have a look. Come on, Alan, don't fail me. Oh, 14.
Great. Yeah, you kind of get a boost off one of the kind of lower knots in the tree, kind of vault up, grab apple, land nimbly on your feet. At this point, so I'm just gonna roll a dice for no reason.
Oh no.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, that'll do what? What?
One of
What
the
have you done?
there's someone in like a uniform walks over, and I'm actually going to ask David a question here. David, what do the City Watch uniforms look like in this town of Ramshackle?
They are black.
Yep.
They have kind of like little silver buttons down the front of it, with a picture of the gate on the buttons. But apart from that, there's pretty much nothing else there.
Great.
There's no hat or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say it's just this, sleek black silver buttoned uniform. And I'm going to say, black isn't a color that many people wear in Shackle because it's the guard's uniform, and that's how you tell. If you are wearing sleek black, there's a chance you might be assumed to be like in kind of masquerading as a guard. So people don't really do that. And this guard says, excuse me, sir, buddy, did you just take an apple?
With apple in hand, I'll just. What, this one?
Yeah, that apple that I just saw you pick off that tree that's not yours.
No.
Roll deception with disadvantage.
Oh no. How have my rolls managed to just be Alan already? Oh, fantastic! So that's a big fat 5.
Fantastic. I've got good news for you. This person also rolled low on their insight. I've got bad news for you. Their total is also a 5.
Oh no!
So that goes to them, I'm afraid, for insight checks. So,
Damn it!
but there's a second where this guard is like, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe that person was just climbing a tree and had the apple already. And then you can kind of see the cogs moving as they go, wait, no, that's ridiculous. Why am I doubting what I saw with my own eyes? And like, all right, I'm going to need you to you need to provide reasonable evidence to me that you needed to steal this fruit, or I'm going to need you to just, I guess, give it to one of the harvest workers.
Put it back. So, should we put it back? I can put it back if you want.
Can't
Seems a
put
waste
it back.
though.
You can
now
give it. You can
not
give
taking
it
it from the tree.
You can give it to one of the people who's gathering fruit from the trees, or you need to provide reasonable evidence to me at the courthouse that this was a justified theft.
Eat it.
Something I'll reveal about the city right now is that I have determined very few things about law enforcement here. But I have determined that the guard are provided by a kind of larger guild called the Guild of Order that operate across various city-states in this area. And they kind of franchise out guards to different places to enforce their specific laws of each place. And there are different and people negotiate what they want the City Watch to be able to cover and what approach they want them to take, depending on their own particular society. So here, one of the laws regarding theft is you can't steal things unless you can prove that you really needed them. Like if you can provide evidence that you really needed them to in a courthouse, then they might just say, yeah, sure, that they could afford it and you needed it.
It's going to eat into your morning, though, isn't it? You have big plans for the day. You're going to spend half the day in court.
Alan never has big plans, ever, for his day or otherwise. I'll just go, fine, okay, you caught me, and I'll just go, oi! And as soon as somebody looks up, I'll just throw the apple to them and go, there you go, I helped, and just keep walking.
Make me maybe a thrown attack with the apple, I guess.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I'm gonna say that like you're proficient throwing an apple, like it seems reasonable. This is the kind of improvised thing. So just give me roll dex plus proficiency.
Oh no. Oh, now he rolls well. That is, where's my proficiency? Oh, it's there. That's a 19.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the armor class of this basket of apples was very low. So that's it kind of bounces off the rim, rolls across the rim, and then falls into the basket of this woman who's collecting the apples. And she's quite proud. She gives you a thumbs up. Oh, nice one. And the member of the city guard, I think that I've decided they're called orderlies because they're from the Guild of Order. Says, yeah, all right, be on your way. This isn't worth any more of my time.
That's for that. Yeah, you have a good one, mate. See you later.
I have a better day.
Bugger.
What does Alan want to do next?
He's not going to try his luck, actually. He'll just look around, look for the garden, and go, sod it. And he'll just keep walking. And probably head down somewhere that he can actually purchase food instead, because obviously his day is not going well.
Yeah, and you head down to one of like the kind of there's definitely a farmer's market store set of stalls at one end of Harvest, very towards the south of Harvest, where it borders on Chain, and was I? And yeah, as you are kind of looking through kind of the fruit and cheeses and breads available here, it's all lovely and fresh and not very expensive. A person that you recognise hurries over to you. It's a person wearing quite shoddy robes, kind of like has a definite kind of elderly wizardy look, kind of like straggly long grey hair under a little pointy hat that's quite droopy though. This is a down on their luck wizard, and you recognise this person as Professor Bustius, who is a professor you've worked with on some of your adventures before. They're down on their luck at the moment. They're kind of a disgraced professor. They were working on kind of interplanar magical research regarding the gates. They had a laboratory that was kind of adjacent to one of the temples in Candle, which is one of the place where a lot of the kind of like wizards' towers and kind of more research-oriented temples are. And it's just on the edge of the district around the gate, so that they can have access to that for their research.
Cool.
He says, Alan, I'm so glad I ran into you.
You see that meerkat?
Yeah.
It's maybe got a slight meerkatish quality to it.
Alan. Yeah, cool.
I'm so glad I ran into. I need a favor.
You always need a favor. What do you want now?
Well, you see, I've as you know, I've had a little problem recently, and I've had to relocate my current research practices. And I've just remembered, because you know me, my memory like a sieve, like an arcane sieve. The arcane sieve was an invention that never really took off. I just remembered that in my previous premises in Candle, in my lab, I left an experiment running that will have some quite unfortunate consequences if it's not recovered and stopped. I don't want to say rift in space and time, so let's just say a small tear in place and clock.
Bloody hell.
So obviously I'm not really allowed in there anymore, but you're always good at getting into places you're not supposed to be. So I was really hoping you'd be able to head to my lab and just remove that experiment.
How long is this going to take me?
I mean, hopefully not long. Hopefully you'll be able to get it done today. I mean, ideally, you really should.
Today? A whole day?
It might not take
like 45 minutes.
It might not take all day. I mean,
I'm
I'm really thinking it'll just be a quick jaunt down there, quick jaunt back.
Oh yeah, it always is a quick jaunt there and a quick jaunt back, and then all of a sudden you're on a separate plane of existence, and things are chasing you around with teeth.
I'm almost certain that's not going to happen this time.
Yeah, brilliant. Fine. Yes, fine.
I'm
guessing I know where. I know where his lab is.
So you've been to the lab in Candle before. It's adjacent to one of the kind of smaller temples there, and it's a temple of a god of travel. Do you want to come up with a name for this god of travel?
Oh man, we shall call them Saga.
Saga, love it. Saga, who's a god of travel, and
seriously, you can't rely on me to name anything. It's just
going
to be a really bad pun every time.
No, I love it, and I think Saga's one of those gods of travel who's more about like losing your way and finding something interesting on the journey, and then getting home safely.
Oh,
so kind of travel and misadventure.
Saints of elderly cruisers. Brilliant. Yes,
so just get that taken care of as soon as possible. Like there might be some of the staff who don't want you to go in there, but whatever you do, don't tell them I sent you.
Right. So it's not like I'm going to get a note or anything like that. Then
it would only hurt your cause.
Right.
I cannot overemphasize how thoroughly they kicked me out.
Would I know of other ways into this place, or would I only have gone through the front door? Is there a tradesman's entrance?
You may well know a way into this place. Do you want to make a roll that's appropriate to that?
I will try.
What do you think?
I guess I've been there before. History, maybe something.
Yeah,
like
history might work, or maybe I'd allow maybe like survival.
Oh, good, because survival is better. Oh dear. Way dirty 20.
Hey, love a dirty 20. Yeah, absolutely. There is a tradesperson's entrance that you've used before. They ask fewer questions there. And because this lab has like arcane component requirements, there is a way in from like the servants' quarters there, because sometimes they will just bring in crates of materials direct to the lab.
Ah, like the first level of Hitman. Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll say like you know someone who works there who kind of organizes the arcane deliveries and has sometimes called on you for help when stuff goes awry. Because of the magical stuff they've got in stock. Like there was an issue with some quasits a while back.
Oh. Wait, don't they explode? I don't like that.
Yes, they did. You did not enjoy it.
Neither did your eyebrows.
Yeah.
And that person's
just
name
love them.
is Wes Hogwood.
Where's Hogwood? Slick. Right, I will purchase something very swiftly for my breakfast and go see Wes.
Brilliant. And at that point, we'll switch focus to someone else. So we've got
God.
David.
Oh, God.
So, David, tell me how Jack starts their day.
I'm just getting in character.
Yes.
Right. Jack is homeless. So a big part of Jack's evening, every evening, is finding somewhere to to be overnight.
Great. So where do you think Jack ended up last night?
Yeah, I know. It's so Jack generally either is hungover or the better option is still pissed. Okay, that's kind of the thing. I've got a water skin that's full of vodka.
Yeah.
So my morning routine is to, if I need to top up, vodka. Yeah, got that. Where am I, and who am I with? And these are all very salient questions that start off in the morning. So I kind of look around. Interesting. This time I'm alone. That's kind of boring, actually. Or maybe somebody left. I don't know. I think I can smell sewers. Yeah, it's one of my better nights out. The mattress is fairly manky, actually, and it's just on the floor.
But you have woken up on a mattress.
I have, yeah. There's a mattress, which is more of a problem than you might imagine some nights. So yeah, I kind of stand up. It's a single room. It looks like a single room. There's some kind of tatty curtains. I pull them back, and I'm looking down on a little street, and there's like an open sewer running down the middle of it, which is lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bright sunny day, so I'm imagining you kind of flinch as the light hits your eyes.
That's why I've got this on now.
And I'm going to say as well that given what you described with the kind of open sewer, you've woken up somewhere in the district of Shadow, which is, it's a little bit like kind of the slums in Discworld. Dodgy stuff happens here, but a lot of trade that's also legitimate and high-end trade happens here as well. Like, this is a city that's decided, you know what, both commerce and crime should just be in the same place.
So like everywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they own it.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm rooting around in my pack for some herbs now. You know, the alcohol has kind of got me back to kind of bouncing along, but
yeah, great. So I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna just roll. I'm going to roll a d20, and on an 11 plus, you have some nice herbs, and on a 1 to 10, you have some very not nice herbs. I got a 3. So you find some herbs in your bag. It's kind of like slightly moldy-ish leaf that you kind of just crunch under your tongue. And I'm going to ask you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Right, you've got to tell me what that is.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just have a quick look at your character sheet.
Yeah, I'm getting that up. Do I need a bucket?
That's entirely possible. So you don't have proficiency in Constitution saving throws, but you do have +2 to your con modifier. So you just need to roll a d20 and add 2 to the result. And you're aiming for 13.
That's a big old 5. Well, it's a 3 plus 2. God, it was a bad night last night.
So yeah, this herb definitely doesn't help. And you feel worse. The headache has only intensified. You are seeing you've got blurs, kind of like prismatic rainbowy blurs around the eyes. You're very tunnel visioned. Your mouth feels very dry and or and kind of almost like cracked, and I'm going. What effect do you think is just going to be really unfortunate for this herb to have on you?
My arms have stopped working.
Yeah, I think that's it. That you've got some numbness going on.
Yeah.
So you can kind of still move them, but they don't feel like they're yours.
No.
You're having one of those full on hands are so weird.
They're like sausages. I've got.
Yeah.
They don't bend. They only bend on this joint here.
Yeah.
That's the only
So
joint
you're
they
just
bend on.
really hyper aware of these strange, fleshy, bone-filled appendages that are attached to you, and you can't get rid of them. They're just stuck there. What does Jack decide to do next?
I need to get out. I need to get out. Well, where's my stuff? Where's all my bloody? Oh, there it is. It's in the corner. That's right. I've got to get it on.
Yeah, it's just kind of
somehow.
strewn in the corner.
Yeah, I just got to scooping it into the bag again. Just kind of getting it on, and then I try standing up. That was a bad.
You're a bit shaky, yeah.
Yeah.
The room's kind of spinning.
Mm-hmm.
You're having the same problems with your legs that you were having with your arms.
Now I'm trying to operate a doorknob, which is pretty. I'm no.
Yeah,
Right,
and I'm gonna say
just gonna throw myself against the door now.
I'm gonna say in your current state, I'm gonna ask for a roll to try and open the door.
Yes,
Normally,
it'd be a
I would
very,
not
very
ask
short
for a roll
experience.
for this simple kind of thing, but currently, there's a chance you might not be able to open this door. So, how are you trying to open it? Are you trying to work out how the door handle works, or are you just trying to? Great.
But it's round, you see, so I can't grip it. If it was one of the ones that went like that, it'd be fine, but it's round, so I can't get my hand around it.
So,
Those are the worst.
So either roll me a sleight of hand check or an athletics check.
I think sleight of hand's out the window at the moment. There's
So
no way I can
just
sleight of hand
athletics.
anything. Right, so what is that, a 20?
You roll a d20, yep, and
Yeah.
I don't think you have proficiency in athletics, so you're you have -1 to this roll.
With the -1, 16.
Okay, you kind of just shoulder into the door, and it kind of opens a little bit. It's quite sticky, and you shoulder into it again, and the door changes to bursts open. You think you might have damaged one of the hinges, but it's open, and there's a thin set of stairs leading down.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go down on my bum. I'm not going to try and walk down. I could see a dice roll coming on that one.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Roll to butt scooch.
Which is you do have proficiency in dex saving throws, I believe, as a rogue.
Okay, so the number on the dice is 8.
But you get +6 to this.
Yeah.
So you got a 14 overall, which I'm going to say is sufficient to stop you taking damage from sliding down the stairs. So you neatly avoid that D4 bludgeoning damage. And you got down the stairs. There's not much in the way of furniture down here. There's a little kind of anteroom. This looks like a fairly cheap, small and functional apartment. There's just a little anteroom with like a small table and like a cooking pot, and a grimy window, and another door.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the door out to the street. Is there a window? Sorry, the window.
The window is grimy.
I think I'm gonna smash the window and climb out through that after the last door. I can't go through that again. I really
That
can't.
is so in character, though.
I'm taking the cooking pot and smashing the window with it.
Yeah, make me an attack roll, I guess.
You forget that there's no glass in the window and the pot just goes.
Okay, attack. Is that 20?
So yeah, roll a d20. And again, the thing is, you're going to be at -1 again because this is definitely not a dexterity-based weapon.
Yeah, I got a 13. So -1 is 12.
The window definitely doesn't have an AC of higher than 12. Roll 1d4.
That's the extra hint one, isn't it?
Yep.
1.
The window cracks but doesn't break.
Oh, for God's sake! Can I do it again?
Is anyone having a good morning this morning?
You absolutely can. Roll your d20 again.
I have a feeling there's going to be a split between Craig and David's characters and mine and Hugo's character.
Maybe.
It's okay. Once I'm outside and I've had something to eat, I'll sharpen up. I'll be there. I'll be on it.
What was that second attack?
I've got work to do. I've got 2. I think I'm trapped in this house.
Reduced to 1. Yeah. So you honestly you miss the window. The cooking pot, you kind of hurl it. It glances off the window frame, bounces off the table, and rolls like under a chair.
I'm going back to
with like kind of a sad tumbling sound. That kind of whirling round and round sound. Like,
right, I'm just looking in my pack. Hang on. There must be something I can. Ooh, these tools. Can I? No, they won't do help me with the door.
You could absolutely use the thieves' tools to try and jimmy the window out of its frame.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Great, maybe a thieves' tool roll. So you're rolling plus your proficiency plus your dex.
So that's a lot then.
Yeah.
So the number was 14.
And you add 5 to that. So you got a 19. Yeah, which means absolutely you get a little set of tools, like these little basically mini crowbar things. You jam it into
I'm using with my sausage fingers.
Yeah. you kind of maneuver it with one hand and one like elbow.
Yeah.
Jam it into the crack between the glass and the frame, and just lever the glass out of the window. Place it down. There's cracked pane of glass on the table, and you climb out through. And as you're climbing through the window, you notice the latch that you could have opened to get out the window. Too late now. And you're out in the street. There's a little bit of sewage running down the street. Yay! It's a bit grimy. Kind of uneven cobblestones. You're not 100% sure where you are, but you recognize the vague district. What do you want to do?
I want a liquid breakfast. Where's the pub?
Fantastic. There is probably a pub not too far away. Like there are a bunch of seedy bars that people might would meet to have kind of clandestine meetings. There's one of them even open at this time in the morning. Do you have a name for a pub in mind, or?
I don't think the kind of places I go generally have names.
The Bloody Lion.
Yeah, great.
Nice.
There's a pub called the Bloody Lion. It's got the kind of outline of a lion on the sign, and that you think that might be a real bloodstain.
My kind of place. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You head in.
Hold on. I'm using my watcher's eye to pick out dens of criminal activity. Absolutely.
Do you want this to be a den of criminal activity?
Well, I'm hoping it isn't.
Okay, yeah. I think that's an ability you have. So yeah, you can absolutely find a bar, and this bar is not a den of criminal activity. So that's not going to interrupt your liquid breakfast. It's probably there's probably like a 50-50 shot in this area of getting a crim pub or a regular pub. So you found a regular pub. And there's a fairly burly person of indistinct gender behind the bar, and they say, "Oh yeah, you back again, are you?"
Again?
Well, you were here last night.
Oh God.
Are you here to pay your tab?
Yeah, the guy I was with was supposed to pay.
Oh, are you going to pay his tab too?
Damn it. Look. I've got this bell. Right, it's a really nice bell. It's made of silver. Could I give you that? Will that do?
Make me.
I mean, look at that. Look at the hallmark on that bell. That's proper. That is.
And this person, they kind of peer at the bell. They like spit on their hand. They rub on the bell. They go, maybe persuasion check. You're not proficient in this, so just add your charisma bonus.
Add what? Sorry.
You are not proficient in this, so just add your charisma bonus.
Charisma.
So it's +3.
Yeah. And I rolled an 11, so that takes me to 14.
Yeah. Shockingly, this person goes, you know what? Yeah, that's a nice bell. I could use a bell for the door, so I can be warned about assholes like you walking in.
Yeah, well, I was thinking time, gentlemen, please. Although obviously you're open at this time in the morning. Speaking of which, can I have whatever's like Guinness?
Yeah, you can have a Guinness.
No, a Guinness. Excellent. Something woolly, something like wool. That'll be great.
Oh yeah, like a breakfast beer.
Yeah.
Breakfast beer.
Yeah.
And they pour you this very thick, dark ale. It looks like it might have actual oats in it.
Excellent. That's what I'm talking about.
It's just this thick. It's almost got this sludgy quality to it in a wooden tankard. Yeah, and they just set it down with a clunk on the bar in front of you.
You're going to spend the next few weeks figuring out some important reason why we need a bell, and I'm not going to have it anymore.
You assume I don't already know it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Right. Okay. I'm just going to drink this fairly quickly because I want out. I want to go and get on with some stuff. I've got money to earn.
Yeah, great. So as you are just finishing up that pint, give me a perception check. So you have perception trained, so you're just adding a +3 to this.
Yeah. 1. I'm focused on my beer.
That's astonishing. So you hear nothing, you see nothing. The world is beer.
Yep.
This beer it's actually quite a pleasant texture. It is very much like having a porridge in beer form. It's like a meal in a tankard. You feel that it sits kind of heavily in your stomach, but it's got a nice malty taste. And as you swallow one kind of lumpy bit, you hope that was a currant.
Yeah.
And as you're kind of contemplating this, you suddenly feel a tap on your shoulder. You were not aware of anyone else entering this pub.
No.
You kind of
because they didn't have a bell. They didn't put the bell up.
The bell wasn't there on the door.
Not up yet. Yeah.
No.
That's why you need the bell. How does Jack react to being suddenly unexpectedly tapped on the shoulder?
I'll turn around and put my hand on my rapier.
Cool.
Of course, I can't hold the rapier.
And you turn around to see a woman in a black uniform of the guards of the orderlies, with some, I think, silver epaulets on the shoulders as well to denote higher rank, indicating they are a grand orderly. This woman. You recognize this woman. You've worked with her before you were chucked out of the orderlies. And what was her name? She is Grand Orderly Austin.
Austin.
Yep. She says, "Gods above, Jack. It's a little early even for you, isn't it?"
No, it's still last night. I've not stopped. This is just continuing.
I forget. Of course, you also have a liquid approach to time. Great. Listen, I've got a lead for you, Jack.
A lead on which case?
Well, on a new case.
Oh, a new. Oh, excellent. So
Like,
something
it's-
you've got- Go on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pickle because it's something that we're not allowed to look into yet because it's a bit up in the air as to whether it's violated one of the laws of Shackle. Because, like, someone's definitely dead, but
Hold on,
they're not
just-
sure yet if a person did it.
I'm just writing this down. Hang on. Person dead. Right. Okay, I've got that.
Yeah,
So
like
this.
How are you holding the pen?
Well, this is why it's taking so long. Yeah,
Yeah.
person dead.
And they say, yeah, look, it's one of the it's some academic over in Puzzle in one of the colleges there. They were found dead in their office. Something weird happened. They think maybe something weird got into the city somehow. Maybe it was in here. Maybe people are worried that maybe it got in through the gate because the gate kind of opened yesterday, and we're not sure why. And like nothing was scheduled. No like emissaries came through or anything. So it's a bit weird. And if it's anything to do with that, then there's this whole other set of protocols in place that we're not allowed to touch. But I don't want the trail to get cold, so I'd really appreciate it if you could maybe look into this one, and that if you can solve it or point us in the right direction once we can get involved, there'd definitely be a reward in it.
I'll need expenses up front.
What kind of expenses?
Well, enough to buy that bell back.
What bell, Jack? What bell?
That one there that guy's attaching to the door. Look, just two gold pieces will do it, and the rest can be reward afterwards. It'll be fine.
2 gold pieces for a bell.
No, one of them for the bell and one for expenses. Getting on with stuff.
Like roll. Definitely roll me a persuasion here.
Yes. Is that right? I will. With the charisma modifier.
Yeah.
14.
Plus
3, 17.
17. Oh my word. I was like, all right, you know what? I will give you 1 gold and 5 silver. So 1.5 gold.
Yeah, the silver will pay for the bell. That's fine.
I'm so glad we're in metric.
And she counts it out into your shaky palm. And goes, look, just, and then writes down an address on a piece of paper and hands it to you.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll get straight on that.
No, you can tell them the orderly sent you, but you might have to find a way around the college porters because they've got to stick up their ends.
Okay.
But I usually trust that you can get into wherever you're not supposed to be. So
it's fine.
I see a theme.
She also doesn't know that I've still got my uniform in my bag. And it's literally there on the sheet.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
on the
It came with your background. You're allowed it. It might be missing a few of the silver buttons.
Yeah. And she doesn't know I've still got it.
Absolutely. So she leaves you to finish your breakfast beer.
Excellent.
And
get my bell back.
yeah, and you buy back your bell, which will cost you the silver to cover the cost of both tabs from last night.
So I've got 11 on my gold now, yeah?
Yep, absolutely. You are
Excellent.
1
And I
gold
can
up
put
for
my bell back in.
expenses.
And bell back in. Excellent. That's a good morning.
Gold closer to retirement.
I've had a better breakfast than Alan. I'm 1 gold up. Still got my bell, and I've got a job.
Yeah, congratulations. You are winning.
I am winning. Certainly better than I thought when, kind of 10 minutes ago.
Lovely. Okay, so we've got 2 of you left. All right, super. So I roll the dice, and we have got Hugo. So introduce us to Farrier's Morning.
Okay, well, she has a small room upstairs. She lives in a townhouse with her father in not particularly upscale district of Shackle. She lives in the upstairs room next to the storeroom where there's loads of fabrics and stuff like that. She kind of she at least dresses herself for bed, and she has some veiled curtains, and next to her bed on a little nightstand on top of a pile of books is a little silver music box which plays sounds of birds and streams and stuff like that she uses to get to sleep. So she'll sort of roll over, squint at the sun, and gently close the music box and sit up on the side of the bed for a couple of minutes and will herself into motion.
Lovely. And I think given the kind of things Faria and her father do for a living, you're probably based in Puzzle, which is a district where a lot of kind of the artificers and people who just make practical or interesting things for a living live and work.
Cool.
Grand. So there you are. Brilliant. As you will yourself into wakefulness, you can hear the sound of the world outside. There's like occasional hammering, occasional shouts of people kind of crying out different wares or calling after their families. It's a fairly busy kind of area where people are doing practical things. So there's all those kinds of sounds of building and working. And what do you do next?
Well, the first thing she'll do is get dressed. Her father being a tailor, she has no end of different unusual and stylish things to wear. So she'll pick something that makes her feel confident, and then sort of quietly creep her way downstairs to organize the workshop for her father to get started in once he wakes up.
Cool, super. And what are those kind of tasks of organizing the workshop? What does that look like? What does that involve?
She'll clear off the work surfaces for cutting fabric, kind of probably sweep around the floor so that his mobility isn't impeded by, chunks of offcuts of fabric or stones or bits of metal and stuff like that. She'll make sure that the water's running, because sometimes it just doesn't. She'll make sure that the pantry's stocked and that there's lots of stuff that he might need, because she may not always be in during the day if she has to buy supplies or sometimes take on messaging, like delivery jobs, if money's a little bit tight. So she'll kind of check her father's list of stuff that he's doing and see if there are any preliminary things that she can get ready for each of those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your father has been working on like a specialized project for let's see. Yeah, for a kind of magical type who does experiments around candle. So it's a kind of heavy duty apron, but with lots of pockets for different arcane gizmos. Somewhere between like a smith's apron and a utility belt.
Okay, cool.
But they also want to look very stylish, so they asked for it to be patterned as well, kind of with an embroidery of like stars, like the classy version of a wizard's robe. It's not got like the coloured stars; it's just a slight embroidered pattern on it.
Okay.
I'm also going to ask, as you're checking that the water's working, the water's a little kind of clunky today, so make me a Smith's Tools check to get the water running.
Ooh. I don't know what my save is for that.
I think you've got a +5 to Smith's Tools.
Okay. Cool, let's see.
Or let's see, it'll probably be... Oh no, sorry, it'll probably be less than that.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably be +3, because it'll be your dex plus your...
Okay, well, I got a 2 anyway, so I'm...
Yeah, there is a kind of grinding sound as you fiddle with the pipes, and a gurgling, and a few drips of sad brown water drip out of the tap. It's not looking like a good water day.
No, that's a shame.
So you might have to run to the well a couple of streets down to get some water for the day.
Okay, so I'll scrabble around for a bucket, or maybe 2 buckets. Probably 1, because I'm not very strong. I'll make 2 trips.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you head outside, it's a lovely kind of springish day, bright sun, crisp air. The scent of kind of oil in the air, kind of a bit of smoke as well from people's workshops. And you run down the street to fetch some water. And as you go past, there's a child, probably like an adolescent, rushing by, and they go, "Oh, Varia! I was just on my way to your house."
Oh, hi. How can I help?
And this is little Timo. Timo is a tabaxi like yourself, but more of a feline tabaxi than a vulpine tabaxi like you. And he's saying, "Oh well, someone paid me to take a letter. It came in via the entrance in Wall. It's for your dad."
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
He holds it up, and it's quite fancy parchment. This is not like the kind of cheap stuff you'd usually cheap scroll. You usually have stuff scrawled on scrap paper with like a wax seal.
Ooh, very fancy. Sure, thank you. I guess I'll find out who it's from when he opens it, maybe.
Yeah, sure. We're all very curious. But obviously, it's your business, not our business. Your business.
Okay.
But we're very curious.
Well, I should probably wait for him to open it. Really.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just my mum was just gonna pop the kettle on though, and there'll be steam.
Oh, damn it, steam. Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should do anything or not do anything, but there will be steam and tea.
All right, Timo. Take me to your steam.
Yeah, and Timo takes you to their little house down one of the side streets. And yeah, their mum, slightly bigger again, Tabaxi, is just outside. They're a little smithy, and kind of on top of the what should we call it? The thing they have in the on top of the furnace, they've actually got a little kettle because they figure why double up? And it's just getting to a boil now. So there's that little whistle of boiling water in one of those oldie kettles. And she calls over, "Oh, hi, Timo, Faria. Lovely to see you. How's your father?"
He's good. Yesterday was a good day, but he was tired, so he's I don't know when he'll be up today.
Oh, bless. Well, let us know if you need anything brought over, or or if you're working on any special projects for him. I know you've been looking at prosthetic type things. If you need any metal work done for that, just let us know.
Yeah, thank you. I know I will at some point. It's hard. I'm trying to learn. I had a fiddle with our tap today.
Oh yeah, how'd it go?
It's a work in progress.
Well, yeah, the water around here, it's always very, very hit and miss. People always fiddling with the plumbing is the thing. People in Buzzle, they just love to fiddle. Sometimes too much, you might say.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
The plumbing was working yesterday.
Yeah, really?
What? It didn't need fixing, but people will insist on fixing it. Anyway, would you like a cup of tea?
I would love a cup of tea. Yeah, I would love one. Thank you.
And they're just in front of you. There's the steaming kettle. She's about to pour. She pours a couple of cups out of it, but the steam's still coming up. If you wanted to do anything with the steam.
So I'll sneak the letter over and sort of edge my claw under the wax as it kind of heats up a little bit.
Yeah,
Pop it.
absolutely. Make me. There's definitely some kind of roll here. Probably sleight of hand.
Okay.
Or potentially investigation.
Can I do sleight of hand because I just rolled a 19?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Cool.
And I think you got +1 to that. So
Yeah,
is
so
that
20.
19 with the? So yeah, and another dirty 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, you steam it open perfectly, not a mark left on the parchment, and you open up this letter, and it's signed by a name you don't recognize, but it basically says, remind me of Farrier's dad's name.
Aiden.
Says, "Dear Aiden, I know it's been some time since I've been in touch, since we were on campaign together, in fact. But I just wanted to write you a quick warning. It's one of the seers in my regiment has had a disturbing vision of Ramshackle, and it was vague and cryptic, but there's some trouble coming to your city, and we think you might somehow end up involved. There was a vision of some kind of lab, and that you were delivering something to some kind of item of clothing, an apron maybe, they thought, and again, it was a fragmentary vision, but there was something strange and that felt like it was almost alien, something from outside, if that makes sense there. And I don't really know how to tell you this. You didn't survive. So please take this warning, and if that sounds familiar to you, just avoid that place and that situation. Something fell and strange is going on in Shackle. Ever in your service, Quen Hildebrandt. Yeah, so you read that. You can copy it down if you want, but then you can, using a little bit of heat from the forge, you reattach the wax seal.
Yeah, I do that and try not to look too alarmed in front of Timo and his mum.
Yeah, roll me a deception check.
17 total.
Yeah, you manage to conceal that alarm. You kind of just bite your lip, and that pain kind of make you focus on that, and you focus on kind of the things around you, the heat of the forge, the scent of the fragrant tea that's just brewing in your and the heat in your hands, and the worry continues in the back of your mind, but you're not showing it.
Oh, it's the commissioner wanting an update again. He's very he's anticipating this apron very much, so he's just anxious,
Yeah. Oh, these people, we get it all the time with the forge work. People are very pushy about their commissions, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Just constantly writing you, saying, any updates yet? And it's been, 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. When you work in this kind of industry, what you want to do is just focus on the project, focus on problem solving, creating cool things. But a lot of it's just, so much of it is just expectation management, and they don't tell you that when you get into the industry.
No, she says, drinking her tea a little bit too quickly for how hot it is.
Yeah, brilliant. And so you make small talk for a little bit longer, and you kind of finish your tea. She says, "Well, I won't keep you any longer. Again, best to your father, and let us know if you need anything."
I will. Thank you so much for the.
No worries. Oh, Timo, why don't you help Farrier with the other bucket of water? So Timo runs along and helps you with a second bucket of water to kind of save you the extra trip.
Lovely, yeah. And we'll go and plug up the sink and fill that. So Aiden's got stuff to wash the cloth in and prepare it and what have you.
Yeah, super. And I think just as you've got that, got the water in the sink, and as Timo's headed off with the extra bucket, you hear your father starting to stir.
I'm holding the letter and I don't know whether to give it to him or not. Morning?
Oh, good morning. Oh, Farrier, my dear. How are we doing this morning?
Oh, fine. I think we're mostly ready.
Oh, lovely. Just give me a hand up, would you?
Yeah, sure. So again,
Cool. And how does your Farrier's father get around?
he has a very sort of narrow, like slim sort of wheelchair, I guess, that helps him kind of just scoot around the warehouse area. He's also got some crutches he can lean up on if he needs to do standing work. They're kind of, I suppose, elbow crutches he can lean on and do dexterous stuff with his hands.
Yeah, cool. So I'm imagining kind of like a slightly steampunky looking wheelchair that folds up. So again, a mixture of like kind of steel and brass.
Yeah.
That kind of cool and kind of like worn canvas. And it's again, like most things in Ramshackle, it looks a bit bodged together, but it works pretty smoothly.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yeah. So, and your dad gets up and goes from bed using the crutches to the wheelchair and heads over to the workbench and is putting the finishing touches on the apron with your help. And it just says, "Okay, great. So, yeah, I think this will be finished fairly soon. And I should run it over to Candle later today. I don't know. They were anxious to get their hands on it and continue their work."
Why don't I take it for you?
Oh, are you sure?
I mean, yesterday was exhausting for you, so I'd rather you rest and I'll do it. I'll take it along.
Oh, that's very. You're so good to me, Farrier. I do. I'm not going to. I'm trying not to say that I must be a burden on you and all that, but I appreciate everything that you do.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't be here without you, so it's, we give and take.
Well, quite so. Anyway, let's just get this done. Make sure it's the best job we can possibly do, eh?
Yeah, and I'll bring some nice, one of those nice sweet potato loaves back for this evening or something.
Oh, I love those sweet potato loaves. They're so dense and moist.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes, very good. Yeah, and you kind of finish off this apron, and it's done. And you head off towards Candle to deliver it.
Cool.
And yeah, we'll cut away from you, and we'll cut to our final character, which is Wendy. So Captain Wendy. What does it look like when Captain Wendy gets up? Where are they? What happens?
So Captain Wendy lives in a fairly nice place. It's not a full house because she doesn't need that amount of space, but what she has is well looked after and good quality. She probably lives in a sort of middling area. She's not sort of nobility or anything like that, but she's definitely got coins in her purse.
Okay. Yeah. And what kind of stuff does Captain Wendy do as the day-to-day? Like what activities fill their time?
So Captain Wendy does a lot of stuff basically for anyone who needs a hand, pretty much. She works quite closely with the watch on multiple different escapades, as it were. But she also does bits and pieces within the community. She helps with with the children sometimes as well.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
I reckon that in terms of where in the city you're based, Captain Wendy is probably right between Heart and Chain. Heart, where a lot of the kind of churches and community organizations are, and Chain is where like the courthouses are. Chain's usually the kind of guard the orderlies are based between Chain and Wall. But there's also a fair amount of kind of political activity in Chain too.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, and describe a little more about Wendy's house and where it is that Wendy wakes up.
So Wendy will wake up in the bed, not on the bed, dressed in her night clothes. She'll get up and immediately on waking up, she'll get up and out of bed, and go and put on the clothes that she'd laid out the night before, because she is that kind of person. After obviously having a wash, etc. She will also tend to her hand. So as you know, she's only got one hand, so she'll as she's getting dressed, make sure that everything with her grappling hook is working, and then she will have breakfast, probably some sort of egg on toast or something hearty but not too dense, and then she probably wouldn't wear her paladin armor just for out and about. She normally saves that for when she's got stuff to do, with a capital S. And then after that, she will probably go out for a long morning walk.
Lovely. And where do you think this walk will take her?
She'll probably go to wherever the watch is first, just to kind of, check in and ask if there's anything for her to do that day. She'll also let them know that she's not planning on going travelling for another few weeks. She doesn't like staying in one place for too long, but she does enjoy coming back to Shackle as a kind of HQ, as it were. So yeah, she's kind of decided to stay around for another couple of weeks, so she needs to relay that.
Okay, super. So I think what happens is you kind of walk through the district of Chain towards one of the watch houses where you've got a contact that you usually check in with. And yeah, Chain, again, all of these districts have got different kind of characters and aspects to them, which we can go into later. But Chain, as well as having kind of courthouses, watch houses, and some kind of like political meeting houses, also has the kind of slightly grubbier aspects as well, where that are kind of like dissident-y areas, like the areas where, because again, bundled all together is the kind of like the mainstream politics and like the city's council, which is it's kind of loose organization that look over issues relating to the city. But it also tends to be where political organizing from slightly more kind of like radical or community-based groups are. So I think you are heading through one of those areas that's a little bit more run down, but also a little bit more kind of like individualized. And as you're walking down the street, you see like a little scuffle breaking out. And it seems like there are a couple of people shouting at each other. There's one guy who's kind of waving a pamphlet in the air and saying, "No, we need stronger governance. The council doesn't have the authority to impact on the issues that affect everyday people like you and me." And there's a woman who's arguing with him, saying, "No, look, that sounds a lot like it would go against the laws we have in place that allow us leeway and freedom. I don't think that's what we need right now. I think you're a reactionary fool. So, well, you're an individualist, reckless anarchist." And it looks like they're about to come to blows.
Okay, I have no problem just striding up. Because obviously I know best.
Obviously. So yeah, you stride up, and what do you do?
I'll basically just kind of edge, not completely in the middle. I want to be able to see them both at the same time. And yeah, so what's going on here?
And the man with the pamphlet said, I was just handing out some literature about much needed reforms that I feel this city could really use. And this woman has accosted me. And the woman says, look, he's getting in everyone's business. This is ridiculous. He's bothering people, is what he's saying. He definitely bothered me. It's like, honestly, I've never heard such drivel in my life.
Okay, so
and they're getting more and more heated.
Okay,
and, like
so
they both kind of each seem to have a hand on a weapon.
okay, so I will take my grappling hook and put it on the shoulder of the guy, and my hand on the shoulder of the woman, and say to the chap, "Is this true? Are you bothering people?"
I think, how are you saying this? This feels like it might be an intimidation check, or might be kind of like persuasion.
Very, very firm, like I want to know what's going on and don't try and BS me. If you were doing something that you shouldn't have been doing, tell me. Kind of
That
thing.
feels intimidation.
Okay. D20?
Yep. So D20 plus 2.
Okay. That would be 15.
Yeah, I think that gets through to him. He's saying, look, I didn't mean to bother anyone. I feel very strongly and passionately about this cause. And obviously when, this one was very rude when I approached her. And
Well,
maybe
Tony-
I came on a bit strong.
Okay. Were you rude to this gentleman when he offered you a flyer?
And she said, look, maybe I was a little rude, but I definitely didn't want a flyer. And honestly, I think the views that this person is expressing are in themselves rude.
Okay, well,
They're an affront to our life in this city.
was he harming anyone, giving out the flyers?
I was emotionally harmed.
Okay. So you took a flyer.
I didn't take a flyer. I said I wouldn't take a flyer.
Okay.
I told him where he could stick the flyer.
Okay. Well, I think you should exercise your freedom and walk away. And I'm sure this gentleman will not make the mistake of trying to hand you another flyer when you come back later.
It's like,
Walk
all
away.
right. But I'm just saying, this person hands me one more flyer, I'm gonna cut him.
I'm sure he has now taken that into his mind. I'm sure he won't try and hand you another flyer because that would be foolish.
Yep. And I'd like a history roll from Wendy.
Okay. That would be 16 plus whatever the modifier is.
16 plus 1. So that's fine. Yeah, that's enough. You know that regarding the laws around violence in this city, just like the laws around theft, are a bit interesting. Physical violence, specifically any violence that might become lethal, is banned if you haven't exhausted all the other options first.
Okay.
So, were she to stab this man for handing her a flyer a second time, she'd probably be on the wrong side of the law, but she'd be able to make an argument that she had tried to tell him not to do so and warned him of the consequences. So she would be able to mount a defense.
Okay. So I will basically sort of raise my eyebrows to the guy as if to say, you do not want to push your luck here. Like, I feel as though this is a situation whereby there aren't any sort of bad people necessarily. They're both, well in their rights to, do their own thing, but they need to chill.
Yeah, and you think that for now, given they're both a little taken, you've taken control of the situation firmly. They will chill for now.
Okay.
There will be a brief respite of chill.
Few.
But this is maybe a situation to keep an eye on.
Noted. Can I take a flyer to read later?
You can absolutely take a flyer to read later, and I will tell you later what is on that flyer once I've decided.
Excellent. Cool. So does it seem as though the situation has kind of
diffused? Yeah, I think the situation's diffused. The woman walks off, still kind of like with one hand on her dagger, but and the man's like looking a little shaken, but
I'll wait until she's round the corner and gone.
Yeah, and she goes. She's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. She's. It doesn't see. Actually, make a perception check.
Okay. Whoops. 14 plus. What's perception? 1, so 15.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's waiting around a corner to stab this man.
Okay, cool. Not my problem anymore, though. Bye.
Cool. Yeah, and you head on towards the watch house nearby, and when you get there, one of the orderlies outside goes, "Oh, Captain Wendy, I'm so glad to see you. It's one of your mates is in lockup."
What happened?
Oh well, it was Slightly, and Slightly is someone that you will remember from. You and Slightly go way back.
That's Slightly. Yeah,
in that experience. That experience when
we went on a saga holiday together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of got separated, and later you found him again, and he'd been through some stuff. And it's like he got into a fight with someone at the tea house. Like he was spouting all kinds of stuff. Like I don't think he's doing too good. Like.
Can I see him?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't think they're gonna press any charges or anything, but like, yeah, you might want to have a word.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Just and you go and you kind of walk past the kind of front desk and walk back towards the cells, and one person another orderly takes you through, and sitting behind kind of like the wooden bars of one of the cells is Slightly, who has off and on been one of your crew since you were reunited. And so it kind of looks up at you through the bars and goes, "Oh, Captain,
what happened?
It's you. I don't know. I thought I was dreaming, but they said I was in the tea house, and it's just ever since we came here, well, ever since we left that place, my dreams have been so strange, and I saw."
What did you see?
I think something's coming. I think something from one of the beyond places, the places that I got lost.
Coming? Do you mean to Shackle?
Yeah, I saw. It was all weird and prismatic and kind of scurrying around the edges. Like I thought they were underneath the counter of the. I had a dream that I was in the tea house, but hiding under the counter there were these things, and I couldn't quite see them, but they all had that kind of energy, that outside energy, and I started trying to get them, and then I realized I wasn't dreaming, and someone had called the orderlies, and they dragged me here, but they left like this they left this kind of trail in the air. It's like I could see where they were coming from or going to be coming from.
So where was this trail leading?
It's just, I mean, I could show you.
Do you think do you feel well enough to do so?
I mean, if you're there,
Well, I don't have anything else to do today, so maybe this will put your mind at rest if we don't find anything. And if we do find something, then all the better, we can get it sorted.
yeah. And the orderlies let slightly out of the cell, and they probably give you both a cup of tea and him a slice of buttered bread to take with him, because they're not monsters, even if they are law enforcement.
Feeling impugned now. Feeling impugned.
As well, you should. And you head off, and slightly leads you down some streets, kind of looking kind of shiftily off down them. It's like weirdly, sometimes he's kind of looking and squinting, sometimes he's kind of sniffing, and it's following.
Is this sort of not normal behaviour, but within the realms of?
It's within the
behaviour?
realm. Yeah, you haven't observed this kind of behaviour from Slightly in a while.
Okay.
Like, since you guys settled in Ramshackle, it's been very rare for this to happen. This kind of thing.
Okay. So something's definitely set him off then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it seems like as you're following the trail, he seems to be leading you towards the district of Puzzle.
Okay.
Towards somewhere where some of the kind of colleges are.
Okay. I'll just
and we'll cut away from you for now. What we're going to cut back to is the first meeting of a couple of members of the team, as we're going to head over to the district of Candle, where one of you is trying to sneak into a lab, and one of you is delivering an apron to a lab. And actually, it's, as I said, it's attached to the Temple of Saga. So this is a little building that it's a little maze-like, I think. There's one big building with like an upper floor that's open plan, and that's kind of where worship takes place. But on the lower floor, there are lots of different rooms with lots of interconnected doors and curly passageways. And you can get to the lab through this. The kind of servant's entrance, like tradesperson's entrance, is slightly less maze-like than the rest, but it's still this long, windy passageway that you get to from a little door just outside down an alleyway. And you actually and Farrier and Alan arrive just in this alleyway, heading towards the door at roughly the same time, but from different directions. And you recognize each other. You've seen each other before. You've worked together before. And there you are.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, morning. You all right?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
I've had better mornings, to be perfectly honest with you, but still plenty of the day left. I'm sure it'll improve as we go along.
Yeah, maybe it will.
Are you going inside?
Yes, I have this. I'm delivering it, I think. Do you mind coming with me? Is that okay?
Who's it for?
I don't know.
I will give you a name.
Oh no, my pencil.
Farrier, you've got your pencil there. You might pick that up.
Thank you.
It's
sorry.
for Professor Zephyr, who is based out of the interplanar lab attached to the Temple of Saga.
Okay. It's for Professor Zephyr.
Don't think I know him.
I'm sure someone inside will.
Well, I'm going in anyway, so I'll come in with you if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Do you want to knock, or shall I?
I mean, you're here to see someone, right?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I'll do it. It's fine.
And I'll just stand, like, kind of just behind Farrier, as if we've definitely arrived together and are definitely doing the same thing.
Yep, great.
I'm here to help you.
So I rap on the door.
Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
You rap on the door, and like a panel opens up in the door in the kind of top half. A face peers out. This seems to be kind of pointy ears, fine features. This seems to be an elf, and this elf, he looks out. He's dressed in the kind of fine royal blues of one of the college porters, and looks out and goes, "Yep, can I help you?"
Hi, I've got a robe for Professor Zephyr.
Right, yes, Professor Zephyr, I believe he did say he was expecting a delivery today. I'll just need you to sign in, and hands a kind of scroll out. It's like on a little cork board. Hands out a quill. Just write your name and the time of day, and any metaphysical or magical weirdnesses that we need to be aware of that might interfere with the experiments of the lab.
Well, Alan's kind of a metaphysical risk in his own right, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yes, we have...
Slightly like...
Barrier throwing shade.
In fact, Mr. Shaw is noted on one of the common risks on the top of the form.
All right,
Alan.
I'll just tick the box then. And...
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, just circle that.
Yeah. That doesn't leave me liable, though, right?
It very much does.
Okay.
This is
It'll be fine. Come on, let us in.
If you are bringing an Alan into the lab, you are 100% liable for that Alan.
Maybe we should start calling him an Alan Wrench in the works.
Oops. Oh.
I see what thou did there.
No, he'll be fine.
Come for the
Yeah, it'll be
stories.
fine. Come on, let us in.
Very good. Are you sure? Is the Alan absolutely necessary for your endeavour?
She kind of...
Yes, of course I am. I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah. She's kind of crumpling the letter underneath the apron. Is like, yes, we need him.
I would like a persuasion or deception roll. You can have advantage on this as Alan is helping you.
Okay. Natural 20 plus 5, so that's 25.
What do you say is astonishingly convincing?
Oh no.
Please.
Politeness will get you everywhere.
He's helping me out. He's helping my father. I really need to get back, and he's gonna help me out a lot in getting this in and getting where it needs to be. And he's also gonna be helping me for the rest of the day too. So I've got him under strict control.
Okay, if he's under strict control, and if it's to help your father, and there is just inside this person's mind, there is a flashback to his own father, who was very dear to him and who passed on last year, and this dedication to a father is just something that he really admires, and he closes the hatch and opens the door.
Cool.
Perfect.
Nice.
So you have achieved entry into the college, the Temple of Saga, and the lab therein, thanks to the porter's sympathy for Farah's dedication to her father. You receive directions, and as you're going through the door, the porter hands a little glowing bead to Farah, saying, "Just wave this in front of the door, and it will open for you. Just make sure you give it back to me when you leave, for I will need to sign you out."
Sure. Okay. Nice little bead.
Very good.
So that way, yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Yeah, and you follow the corridor down as it does twist and turn and loop, and there's a crossroads you have to navigate. But after a couple of wrong turns, you find your way to the right door.
Not
and
the
it
left
seems
door.
I believe I did say it was on the right, so it's
did.
on the right in both senses. And it seems to be a reinforced, kind of heavy oak door, reinforced with kind of metal panels, and a a handle with a lock that doesn't seem to actually have an opening for a key. But there's clearly some kind of mechanism there.
So I've got the bead in my hand for. This is the bead that opens the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've stayed in hotels that do this. You just kind of wait for the thing and
Yeah,
they
but
never work. You always have to go back to.
Yeah, I would say sometimes, especially if you've got other magical items on you, like you've got to go back to the desk and get them to enchant it again. So yeah, you wave the little bead in front at the door, and the kind of little lock mechanism glows kind of purple for a second, and then there's a click, and the door starts to swing open. Inside, there is a real mess of arcane kind of equipment. There are bubbling beakers, several of which seem to be cracked and broken, and there are various bright liquids steaming and smoking on the floor amidst paperwork. There are a couple of what look like kind of like magical pylons that are kind of crackling with like green electricity that arcs between them. They're made of some kind of almost like liquid metal that's kind of just floating above the ground, above two little orbs. And there is at least one unconscious person in the room. And over on the far side, there is a desk with scorch marks on it and a weird kind of distortion in the air above it. There doesn't seem to be anything there, but something has had some kind of weird impact on the space.
So, Alan, I should probably tell you, I had a bad feeling about coming here.
I'm sorry, what?
I had a letter that warned about something bad going on here, and I think this is it.
Right. Should we just close the door and, I mean, I'm supposed to be in here anyway. I'm looking for someone else, but I don't know where they are. So,
okay, well, I can just leave my.
Who's the? I'm not sure.
Can we identify Professor Zephyr among the unconscious?
That could be him. They're kind of face down at the moment, but there's definitely someone in slightly scorched wizardy robes on the floor. Alan, I will say you recognize this room. This is the lab that Professor Bustius worked in, and indeed you remember the desk with the weird spatial distortion above it. That's his desk.
Bugger. I really don't want to roll that fellow over. To be perfectly honest with you, anyone who rolls over after a magic explosion normally doesn't have a face. And I've seen that before, and I don't really want to see it again. But if you want to, we could. The best ones are when something happens and then there's just a pair of smoking boots left. I like those ones.
Cool. I guess you could reuse the boots. So
yeah, exactly. So you can resew. I'm just gonna go over there and poke that because it seems. I'm just gonna walk over to the desk and because Alan has no arcane acumen at all.
Wait.
And just be like, "Yep."
Do I have my staff with me or not?
You can absolutely have your staff with you.
Okay. Let me do it. I can channel a little bit more magic stuff, maybe.
You mean some?
Yeah, and it's like it's a 6-foot pole as well, so we're a little bit further away.
Oh, nice! And I will just step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Go for it.
Okay. So I raise up the staff and it's got a crystal on the tip. I just kind of drag it towards the space slightly, as if trying to dispel mud from cloudy water or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So make me an Arcana roll.
Oh no. Oh no, maybe it won't be so bad. Let's find out.
Come on, you've got this. I
So
believe
that's a
in you.
+2.
14 total.
Yeah. So as you touch this thing with the crystal on the end of your staff, you feel definitely an arcane connection running from this weird spatial distortion to a place elsewhere in the city. You get a sense of something that was here has been taken away, but this space, because of the nature of what was there, maintains a almost link through space to the object. Something went amiss, and it's almost imprinted on this space, even though it's not been taken away. You're
It went
also
on a
aware.
summer holiday.
Yeah, you're also aware that if you touch this spatial distortion with the staff for a moment longer, something weird's going to happen, because you can feel like the energy building in that place. You can feel like the energy start to build through the pylons to the side as well. It feels like it's almost being pulled towards you.
I'd take it away.
What would you like to do? Great. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
You're looking
11.
for. Yeah, that's not a 15.
Oh.
Ooh.
So the lightning from the arcane pylons suddenly crackles into even more life, arcs over not just from the pylons but towards this space, running along your staff, through you, jumps to Alan.
Ow.
And runs into the spatial distortion, and it feels like it pulls you into it. And you have this weird feeling of your physical forms being almost like sucked through a small hole and then kind of reforming again somewhere else. And we're going to jump focus.
Oh no.
Meanwhile,
And
over
now a word from our sponsors.
over in the district of Puzzle, near one of the colleges, Slightly is leading you towards a little outbuilding, and in the kind of gardens outside, you happen to see, kind of walking towards the building, Jack Pilyakin, who seems to be like just observing this building from a distance.
Okay. I won't shout out or anything, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on them.
Cool.
As much as I can as I'm moving, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. And you seem to be slightly kind of like pointing you towards the building that Jack seems to be watching. Pilyakin, you have reached the address that you were given by Grand Orderly Austin. You're just taking a second to observe it first. It doesn't seem to be anything amiss on the outside. What would you like to do?
I'm going to look around to see if anyone's watching me.
Yeah. And I don't think you need to roll for this. I think they're just... I want you to see Wendy, so you will. So you notice, Captain Wendy, who you've worked with before on various problems that have assailed the city in cases where you needed backup, with a slightly shabbily dressed man leading her around, and seems to be heading towards the building that you're heading towards.
Yeah. If it was just Wendy, hi, Wendy. If it was just Wendy, I would have then just broke into the building. So Wendy, who's this? Who's this? Hi, hello, how are you?
And the man says, "Oh, hello. I'm slightly
what?
Come for the story, stay for the puns.
Oh.
Right now slightly scared."
Don't worry about me. I'm lovely, aren't I, Wendy?
So we're here. Slightly has seen something that he believes needs investigating. So Why am I not surprised to see you here, Jack?
Well, I've
Hmm.
how are you with dead bodies? Because
Um,
I have a certain information that there may be somebody dead in here.
certain information from whom?
Can't talk about that at the moment.
Hmm. Well, we were going to go in anyway, but it now seems as though it's even more important for us to do so.
Yeah, it'd be great if we kind of go in together. That's probably a really good thing.
So you want to come into the place with me, basically?
Yeah. It's great because I don't my I'm having trouble
you
holding
drunk?
things at the moment, and I can't really get through the door.
Are you drunk?
Well, yes, but no, it's something more.
How many-
My arms aren't working. Really.
How many fingers am I holding up? I'll hold
18?
up the grappling hook.
Not at all. Yeah, no. Look, if you could help us get in here, I think it would be really good for both of us.
Fine. Slightly, are you going to come in with us?
I don't think so. I'm not good with dead bodies. I know that about myself.
Well, I tell
I
you
don't-
what, can I give Slightly some coppers or something to go and get a proper breakfast?
You absolutely can. You give Slightly a handful of coppers, and he goes, "Thanks, Wendy. I think
No
there's
problem.
like a cafe that some of the like students use over there, so it's cheap." And
Okay. Well, I'll give him, yeah, sort of 5 coppers or something if that's
yeah,
enough.
that'll definitely be enough for a student breakfast.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully you'll still be there when we come out. So
Yeah,
wait around.
come and
for
get me, and I'll wait there.
Okay, fantastic.
Well done,
Come on
Wendy.
then, Jack.
Oh, hang on. Now he's gone. Yeah, it was Grand Orderly Austin. There's something going on. For some reason, doesn't want it on her plate at the moment. So.
Well, that's never a good sign if she's handed something over to you. No offence.
bloody delighted you're here, though. Will you go in first?
Fine.
Well, I mean, you've got the armour on. I'm just in this stupid coat thing.
So I'll lead Jack into the building.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two ways it looks like you can approach this. There's you could go in through the building proper, or there is a window that seems to lead into the office that you think this is the location that you were given, Jack, and that slightly indicated the trail led in there. So you could try and climb in through the window, or you can go in through the main building.
I've not done well with windows this morning.
I don't think Wendy would try and go into the window. She's too square to do that.
Absolutely.
Not
So,
literally, like she's not literally square.
No, Wendy is secretly a gelatinous cube, and thus is square.
You're not meant to tell people.
Oh God, I spoiled it.
Minecraft, Wendy.
You go in through one of the main entrances to this kind of academic building. There's a little corridor full of like offices with kind of nameplates on the doors, and you walk past there's another porter. This porter is wearing let's say a grey uniform. It's not quite as fancy as the ones over in Candle, where they're attached to the temples and have to look nice for services. And this person definitely seems grumpy. And she says, "All right, what can I do for you?"
Good morning. We need to get in there.
Oh, you need to, do you? You need to. Do you have an appointment?
No.
Then it looks like you can't get in, can you? Is it office hours?
No, and that's the point. We need to get in before office hours start.
Well, that's not what the academics keep strict office hours. So if you don't have an appointment and it's not office hours, I can't let you in.
Was there a disturbance here last night?
I'm sure that would be none of my business.
You see, it's our business though. That's the trouble we'll have.
What, you're in the business of causing disturbances? Is this a threat?
We're in the business of dealing with disturbances.
Still sounds like a threat. Maybe a persuasion roll.
Okay.
If you want, Jack can do something to assist with this persuasion roll and make it an advantage. If Jack can think of anything to say that would help, but if not,
listen. The academic in here. The disturbance last night was a party, and he did some stuff he shouldn't have done, and he's asked me to come along and clear up before his big meeting this morning.
and you see this woman, this porter, like there's a little war going on inside her head, because on the one hand, it's not office hours. On the other hand, disapproval of parties. So yeah, Wendy, roll persuasion with advantage.
This sounds like talking to my GP receptionist when I want an appointment.
7. Although I do have +4 persuasion, so 11.
And that was with advantage.
11 plus whatever the advantage gives.
Oh, so advantage means you roll twice and you take the highest number.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
I should have made that clear.
11 again.
Brilliant. Well done, Wendy. Pats you on the shoulder.
Yeah, this
top quality work.
You see the war kind of goes on in her head, but it definitely feels like the side of office hours of sacrosanct wins. She's like,
Can I go to intimidation?
Yeah, no, sod it. I've lost it now. I'm going in that bloody room.
Absolutely. So yeah, I will let Jack roll intimidation because the persuasion clearly hasn't worked. The woman is saying, "Look, I'm really sorry, but there's nothing I can do. If you don't have an appointment, it's not office hours. The rules are the rules, and I haven't seen any identification from either of you that says you're allowed to be here. So
you want an identification? Pulls back my little thing here. There's my little miniature bow, flipping rapier on the other side. Now you flipping listen here. I've got a hangover. I've got a splitting headache. My arms don't work, and I want to get in that bloody room now."
And yeah, buffeted back by the force of this, and just the surprise of my arms don't work. Make your intimidation roll.
I got a 12.
Is that after you add your bonuses?
No, that's the number on the dice.
Great.
Oh,
So you have a good bonus to intimidation. In fact, I believe you have expertise.
Excellent.
So you are adding 7 to this roll.
Yeah.
So this woman is absolutely intimidated by you. She says, "Well,
right.
I guess you can go in. I don't want any trouble, but I'm definitely going to tell the dean about this."
Good.
And she
Well
kind of scurries off.
I think we should probably get on with this fairly quick then, Wendy.
Yeah, you're not sure how much time you've got, but you've definitely got a little bit of time. So as you enter the office, on the outside of the office is written, let's see, what is this person's name again? It's written Ambrose Mab, Professor of Peaceful Visitation. And
that's ironic.
Yeah, the door appears to be unlocked.
Can you get that, Wendy?
Is it one of those handles or one of those handles?
Yeah, it's one of those handles that I can't do at the moment. So.
With my good hand.
Yep.
Great, we've got one functioning hand between us.
You open the door, and inside you see a little office space. I'm just gonna try and move you to so you can see it on roll 20.
We're going to be scuppered if we need it. That's brilliant.
If we need what?
That's amazing.
If we need a dex roll, we're screwed.
Yeah. Can you see that badly drawn office?
Very much.
What are the 3-legged spiders down at the bottom?
They are stools.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, there's some blood on the paper.
Absolutely. So inside this room, the things that immediately grab your attention are the dead body, with blood pooled around their head. Again, there's blood, a bloody piece of paper on the desk. But honestly, what's even more distracting than these features is the fact that appearing in a flash of light in the middle of the room, disturbing this murder scene that you are about to investigate, appear two familiar people as Alan Shaw and Faria Piraco suddenly appear in this room. And that's where we'll leave it for this episode.
Stack us back
Inspired
in.
Quill D&D. All right, grand. For anyone wondering why you cannot see Hugo's face, there was a storm in their area, so they've had some camera trouble, and we've had to resume the recording now, but we're all good. If you were wondering why we missed David for a little bit earlier, his shopping arrived.
The two different sides.
Britain, USA. We made it. We all managed to get in the same room together.
In one session. One session.
It's almost like it was planned.
Almost.
It's almost like 1 out of 5 of us knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
it
it
was
is only
obviously
one.
Sarah.